Welcome back to Table for One, the show for solo cooks who want to make the most delicious food. I am back with another series of festive recipes. This time I'm talking about my favourite festive single-serve desserts. I have got 6 different desserts to tell you about, and I'm going to show you how to make my absolute favourite one. In a tiny little single-serve pot, it is my self-saucing sticky toffee pudding. It is completely delicious. It's a recipe from my cookbook, one pot, one portion, but I'm making just a couple of tweaks to make this extra festive and Christmassy. And then of course, I'm gonna tell you about the other 5 different festive desserts that you can make throughout the Christmas season. Because even if you are just cooking for yourself at this time of year, it can still be completely full of joy and completely delicious. So, as I say, the recipe I'm going to be showing you today is my self-saucing sticky toffee pudding, which is from the sweet chapter of my cookbook, which, by the way, would make an excellent Christmas present. Here it is, the start of the show, and this is a pretty magical recipe because usually when you make a sticky toffee pudding, you have to make the sponge, cook that separately, and then alongside that make the sticky toffee sauce to get poured over the top. Whereas this one is all done in one pot, through the magic of boiling water. I'm going to explain the full method today. It is truly so easy and the result is completely divine. You are going to want to make this all the time. Let's get started. So, one of the main ingredients in a sticky toffee pudding is dates, and you want to use big, fat, juicy medjool dates, which is what I've used. The first step of this recipe is to chop up the dates and then soak them in some boiling water for about 20 minutes, which rehydrates them and makes them more caramelly and slightly sticky. So I've already done this just to save a little bit of time. And as you can see, there's still some liquid left in here. You want to keep that there. You don't want to get rid of that, as that is important to the batter. Then after that, this couldn't be easier. All you're gonna do is add in the rest of the ingredients to this tiny pot, the little serving dish. This is one of the Le Creuset mini Dutch ovens, and I'll leave a link in the caption. These are really handy little pots for when you're making single serve desserts because they're the perfect size. If you don't have a pot like this, you can use a small skillet or frying pan, but you would only want it to be about 6 inches in diameter. Any bigger and the cake will have too big of a surface area and then it will dry out while it's cooking and you won't get the sauciness. It's also another reason why I love a slightly deeper dish because it retains a little bit more sauce as opposed to if you're baking it in a flatter skillet. Both work, both are delicious. This is just my preference. On to adding the rest of the ingredients, and my next top tip is grab yourself a pair of weighing scales and weigh directly into the pot. Rather than like weighing out separately, making lots of other pots dirty, you can weigh directly into here. So we're gonna go in with 15 grams of softened butter. Next up, I'm gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I'm adding 20 grams of dark brown sugar. And you might be looking at this and thinking, Eleanor, that doesn't look like dark brown sugar, that looks like light brown sugar. And you would be correct because the shop didn't have any dark brown sugar. But do as I say, not as I do. You want dark brown sugar as opposed to light brown sugar because it has a deeper, more molassesy flavour, which is really essential to a sticky toffee pudding. This is a substitute for the purposes of this video, but in real life, please use dark brown sugar. I'm also adding 25 grams of self-raising flour plus a pinch of bicarbonate of soda. And I say a pinch because it would kind of be like 1/8 of a teaspoon, so 1/4 of a 1/4 teaspoon, but that's kind of a silly measurement to put in a book. So just a little pinch should do it, plus a pinch of salt, because I think if you're making something as kind of sweet and it's not sickly, but it's an exceptionally sweet dessert, you want a little bit of salt to balance that out, kind of like a salted caramel. And then the very last thing I'm gonna add, which is also essential to a sticky toffee pudding, is black treacle. Again, this has such a rich molasses flavour. This is essential to the flavour of a sticky toffee pudding. So when you combine the black treacle with the dark brown sugar and the dates, it all comes together to create this rich caramel toffee flavour that is exactly what you want from this dessert. So I just want to add 10 grams. One tip when you're measuring out something like treacle or golden syrup is to oil the spoon that you're using, and the treacle will just slide right off. Again, I'm not gonna lie, I've not done that this time. So as always, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, that is everything for the cake batter. So you just want to mix that together until it's well combined. So when that's come together, you just want to flatten it out slightly, because then we're going to pour the ingredients for our magic sauce on top. Okay, for the sauce, you want to pop the pot back on the scales, and then we're going to add 15 grams of butter just on top of the batter. You don't want to mix it in, plus 15 grams of dark brown sugar, not light brown sugar, and then finally boiling water. And then you want to finish by pouring over 50 grams of boiling water, and this will melt the butter and the sugar and make the sauce, but you don't want to mix it into the batter. You just want to leave it. The magic will happen in the oven as it bakes. Okay, all the prep is done. That took maybe 4 minutes. I'm going to pop this into the oven for about 35 minutes. As it cooks, the sponge will cook and the sauce will kind of melt down the side of the sponge. So when you eat it, you're left with this pool of sticky toffee sauce. And it is absolutely incredible. Don't swirl it, don't mix it, just leave it. Let the oven do the magic. So into the oven this goes. Okay, so while my sticky toffee is baking, I want to tell you about 5 other festive single-serve desserts you can make this holiday season. First up is an individual pecan pie. Now this is actually very much inspired by a kind of American Thanksgiving dinner. It is a pastry case filled with a delicious, almost slightly sticky toffee pecan filling. It is so easy. You just need golden syrup, butter, pecans, really not much else. It takes so little time, but the result is amazing. It's rich and intensely sweet and perfect served with a scoop of ice cream. My next single-serve dessert is my favorite dessert of all time, the apple crumble. Now I've done a whole video on my favorite single-serve apple crumble recipe, which if you haven't seen, you can watch here. But I would change it ever so slightly for Christmas by adding ground cinnamon, ground ginger, and maybe a little pinch of ground nutmeg to the apples. And these spices are quintessentially Christmassy. They are perfect for adding that warmth, that depth, that little hint of almost like mulled wine spices. It'd be so delicious. Next up, we have an incredibly luxurious and decadent mince pie croissant bread and butter pudding. It's as good as it sounds. This is taking the classic concept of a bread and butter pudding, but instead of bread, we're using a croissant, so it's extra buttery. Plus, I often find that if I buy a pack of croissants, I might have one left over that goes a little bit stale, and this is the perfect way to use that. That is soaked in a custard, dolloped with mincemeat, so you get this mince pie flavour in a custardy pudding. It is completely delicious. My 4th dessert recommendation is similar to the sticky toffee pudding. This is my self-saucing chocolate mug cake. Again, this recipe is in my book, but you can also find it on my Instagram channel, so I will leave a link in the bio. I've got 2 versions of this one. The original one is just a chocolate mug cake, and the second version is a malted chocolate mug cake, so it kind of tastes a little bit like a Malteser. This mug cake is made in the microwave in honestly about 5 minutes. It is incredible. It uses the same self-saucing method that the sticky toffee pudding uses by pouring water on top mixed with cocoa powder and sugar, and the result is unbelievably good. The cake is kind of stodgy in the best way, and you get these pools of chocolate sauce at the bottom. It's so good, it's so quick. Honestly, you could make this one every single day during December, and I think you should. And then my final dessert recommendation is a little bit more special. It is an individual mini Yule Log. Now this sounds like it would be so much faff, absolutely not worth making, but I promise you this is genuinely so easy to make. It's a chocolate sponge rolled up with brandy cream and then topped with a chocolate hazelnut spread. It's so good. It's so decadent. It's so festive. It's so cute because it's tiny, and I really cannot wait to make this one again this year. If you make any of them, I hope you love them. For now, let's finish off my self-saucing sticky toffee pudding. Okay, and the sticky toffee pudding is done. It looks saucy and delicious. The very last thing I'm gonna do is just sprinkle over extra scatter of flaky sea salt, and then every good sticky toffee pudding has to finish with a drizzle of cream. Okay, so you can see how deliciously sticky and saucy this is. This is honestly one of the easiest desserts you could ever possibly make, but the payoff in terms of flavour is so, so incredible. Oh my God. I know I am biased, but I actually do think this is one of the best sticky toffee puddings I've ever had. So if you give any of the festive single serve desserts from this video a go, please let me know. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you have the most wonderful holiday season. Make sure you are subscribed for more videos, and I will see you in the next one. Let's get cooking. How is cake batter so good? Slay. Now this sounds... What is happening? I'm not finding this hard at all. Everything's fine.